Hey there, fellow wanderlusters. Today we're diving into the top 10 countries where Americans might find themselves less than welcome. Let's count down why these nations are giving Uncle Sam the cold shoulder. Ten. Sudan. Sudan's not exactly rolling out the red carpet for Americans, and here's why. Since its split from South Sudan, the country has been grappling with ongoing conflicts and political instability. Add to that the US sanctions that have put a strain on diplomatic relations, and you've got a recipe for a not-so-warm welcome. The presence of extremist groups in certain areas poses a serious threat to Western visitors, making it a high-risk destination. To top it off, there's limited diplomatic presence in Sudan, which means if an American traveler finds themselves in a pickle, getting help could be trickier than solving a Rubik's Cube blindfolded. 9. Somalia. Somalia's "not today, USA" attitude isn't coming out of nowhere. This East African nation has been dealing with decades of civil war and lacks a stable central government, making it about as stable as a Jenga tower in an earthquake. US military operations in the country, including those controversial drone strikes, haven't exactly endeared Americans to the local population. The presence of Al-Shabaab, an extremist group with a particular dislike for Westerners, adds another layer of danger. And let's not forget the piracy issues off the Somali coast, which have led to US naval interventions. Not exactly a great foundation for a friendly tourist relationship. 8. Afghanistan. Afghanistan's unwelcome mat for Americans is well worn at this point. The long US military presence from 2001 to 2021 left a complicated legacy, to put it mildly. With the Taliban takeover in 2021, the political landscape has changed faster than a chameleon on a disco floor. There's a lot of resentment over civilian casualties during the war, and many Afghans feel abandoned by the US withdrawal. Throw in the ongoing security threats from various militant groups, and you've got a situation that's about as inviting as a cactus patch in swimming trunks. 7. Syria. Syria's maybe next century stance towards American tourists isn't just playing hard to get. The ongoing civil war since 2011, with US involvement supporting opposition forces, has turned the country into a complex battleground. US sanctions against the Syrian government haven't helped matters. Various extremist groups, including ISIS remnants, still pose a threat in certain areas. The destruction of infrastructure and UNESCO World Heritage sites during the conflict means that even if you could visit, it wouldn't be the Syria of old. It's less welcome mat and more do not enter tape at the moment. 6. Libya. Libya's giving Americans the cold shoulder, and it's not just because of the desert heat. There's still some lingering resentment over the 2011 NATO intervention that led to Gaddafi's overthrow, an intervention the US played a big part in. The ongoing civil war and presence of multiple competing governments make Libya about as stable as a house of cards in a wind tunnel. US airstrikes against extremist targets in the country haven't exactly smoothed things over. With no functioning central government to process visas or ensure visitors' safety, Libya remains a no-go zone for American tourists. 5. Yemen. Yemen's thanks but no thanks attitude toward American visitors comes with a side of geopolitical complications. The ongoing civil war, with US support for one side of the conflict, has turned the country into a hotbed of tension. The humanitarian crisis, partly blamed on US-backed Saudi intervention, has left deep scars. Yemen is also home to Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, AQAP, a group known for targeting Westerners. US drone strikes in the country, which have caused civilian casualties, have only added fuel to the fire. It's about as welcoming as a sandstorm in the desert right now. 4. North Korea. North Korea's notorious difficulty for American visitors is the stuff of legend at this point. Decades of hostility since the Korean War, where the US fought against North Korea, have left relations frostier than a Pyongyang winter. The regime's strict control over all aspects of society, including tourism, means visiting is about as easy as nailing jelly to a wall. US sanctions and diplomatic pressure over North Korea's nuclear program haven't exactly warmed things up. And let's not forget incidents involving American tourists, like the tragic Otto Warmbier case, which led to outright travel bans. It's safe to say North Korea won't be topping any American-friendly destinations lists anytime soon. 3. Iran. Iran's complex visa process and chilly reception for Americans is like a layered cake of historical beef. We're talking decades of hostility since the 1979 Islamic Revolution and that infamous hostage crisis. US sanctions have hit Iran's economy harder than a heavyweight boxer, which doesn't exactly endear Americans to the locals. Tensions over Iran's nuclear program and regional influence have diplomatic relations colder than a polar bear's toenails. To top it off, incidents of detention involving American-Iranian dual citizens have made the US government warier than a cat in a room full of rocking chairs about its citizens traveling there. 2. Cuba. Cuba's red tape for American visitors is so thick you could use it as a jump rope. The long-standing US embargo and travel restrictions have made visiting our Caribbean neighbor trickier than a game of underwater chess. Those lingering Cold War tensions and Cuba's communist government mean relations are still on thin ice, despite being so close geographically. There was a brief period of, hey, maybe we can be friends under Obama. But recent diplomatic setbacks have things back to its complicated status. And let's not forget those mysterious Havana syndrome incidents affecting US diplomats, which added a whole new layer of what the heck is going on to the situation. 1. Venezuela. Venezuela tops our list with its meh attitude towards American tourists. And boy, is it a doozy of a situation. US support for opposition leaders and non-recognition of Maduro's government has diplomatic relations so low they're practically subterranean. The severe US economic sanctions have hit Venezuela's oil-based economy like a wrecking ball, which hasn't exactly made Americans popular. There are more accusations flying around of US interference in Venezuelan politics than there are pigeons in a city park. The deteriorating security situation and economic crisis, partly blamed on US policies, mean that even if you could visit, it'd be about as relaxing as a vacation in a beehive. Remember, folks, international relations are as changeable as a chameleon on a disco floor. Always check current travel advisories before planning your next adventure. And hey, there are still plenty of amazing places where Americans are more than welcome. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And let us know in the comments what's the most challenging place you've ever visited. Until next time, keep those passports ready and your travel dreams big.